It says you're now streaming live on YouTube.
Yeah, it still says setting it up on my end, so I usually wait till I actually see it, just to be safe. And there we are. Okay, let me get record. Okay. I call the meeting to order, which we do the pledge to the flag, and with me sitting where I am, the flag is right over my shoulder. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd also like to ask for just a brief moment of silence for Town of Shangam Supervisor John Volk and his family. His wife passed away yesterday after a very long battle with cancer, and sadly finally succumbed to it. So just like to have a moment of silence for he and his family. Thank you very much. For the board's information, I'm going to send a condolence card on our behalf from the whole board, if you don't mind, to him expressing our condolences. So,
Thank you.
Kate, would you do the roll call, please?
Councilwoman Allen,
Here.
Councilwoman Hoggan Depew,
Here.
Councilman Hewitt,
Here.
Councilman Paddock,
Here.
Supervisor Bailey.
Here. Okay. First item on the agenda tonight, I want Chris to just give a real brief overview. At my request, he has applied for a grant regarding the Heritage Park. It's a fairly small grant, but any amount of money will help. And we're in need of a resolution tonight just from the town board supporting his submitting the grant. So Chris, do you want to give a quick overview? I can give you a screen share if you want to share.
Sure. Mike had shared, I think it was 2 meetings ago, a link to the Heritage Development Grants from New York State. It's about heritage quarters and corridors and unique areas. And so it was a $5,000 grant with a match, and in-kind services count as the match. So we got a letter of support from Superintendent of Highways saying the work that they're willing to contribute. And so we hope to get $5,000 for signage and building the primary kiosk as people enter. So they're suggesting that we pass this resolution.
And it should be up on everybody's screen. So Chris, I'm going to ask you to make the motion, please. And
yeah, I'll make the motion that we support the Heritage Grant Program grant that we submitted. And then I could read it. You want me to read it, Mike?
Why don't you, even though it's up on the screen?
Whereas the Town of Rochester Town Board is applying to the Hudson River Valley National Heritage Area for a grant under the Hudson River Valley National Heritage Area Grant Program for a project entitled Watershed and Ecological Farming Educational Park to be located in Kerhonkson, New York, Town of Rochester. Now therefore be it resolved that the governing board for the Town of Rochester hereby does approve and endorse the application for a grant under the Hudson River Valley National Heritage Area Grant Program for a project known as Watershed and Ecological Farming Educational Park and located within this community.
And does someone want to second that, please?
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any questions or discussion?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
Chris, on this drawing, you show a diagram damming up the mill stream there. Correct?
That's a bridge.
A bridge?
Yeah.
But isn't it also restricting the water to make a waiting area?
Nope, there's no restriction. Oh, the restriction exists already. It's a log that fell probably at least 50 years ago.
Okay. we still do not know the classification of this stream. Is that correct?
Mm, I don't think
DEC
so.
has not classified this stream to us
Mr.
yet.
Where did you hear that? I don't think that's true.
Has it? I guess if it has, I'd like to know.
Yeah,
We have
it's a-
not reached out to the DEC. This grant is for kiosk fee. It's nothing to do with the stream.
Or the park, really.
The grant application that I sent you was for the money to create the kiosk.
I understand that, but every time we do something, we're going that much further into this project, and no one wants to answer my question as to the DEC classification of this stream.
I think I know the answer.
Okay,
It's
But
an
does-
upland tributary on a non-navigable part of the Rondout.
that doesn't tell me, is it an A, B, C, D, or an unclassified stream?
You know, Mike?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think I know that the watershed, the Rondout Watershed Alliance, like Andrew, Laura Feinstone, and the others on that committee would know the classification. I could find out by tomorrow.
We can also look it up on the DEC website. It's the Millbrook. Every stream is listed on the DEC website as to its classification. We're not proposing doing anything to the stream, B, at this point.
But you are encroaching on the lands around the stream. If we learned nothing this summer, we learned of the destructive capabilities of people visiting Vernoy-Kill, Deep Hole, all of these places. Chris, I think I'm not disputing the efforts of the grant, but I think the more we progress with this, we need a little more information. If you were bringing this to me before the Zoning Board of Appeals, I would be asking you specific questions about this grant and about this property use. Now, this board has yet to see a report from the $2,500 we allowed to be spent. Where did that money go and what was it spent on? I have not seen a report for a dime of that money.
Chris,
Well, it seems
didn't you
like
give the follow-up, Chris, of that?
Yeah, I'll give it. It just seems like you're being combative, B, for no reason.
I'm
And
not being
oh, good.
combative.
I'm just really
asking-
happy. I'm really happy to answer any of those questions because we've been doing a lot of research. And if you're asking me where the progress has been and where we're at, I
Yes,
can answer that right now.
but I think the board should have had a report of the monies.
Oh, yeah?
That's
Okay.
our job.
Would you like it now?
Chris, if I can answer, B, this grant had a deadline that had to be met. So,
Well,
the
let
ability
me
to-
let me answer that, Mike.
okay.
The
not
grant has
combative,
nothing to do
Chris.
with
I
this
have-
answer.
I have
The grant has
questions.
nothing to do with this answer. The answer is we gave Andrew and Center for Bioregional Living $1,100 or $1,250, half of the total that we approved, in order to walk the property, create trails, and there's 5 deliverables that he agreed to, and he's met
Correct.
4 of them already. And the 5th is just clearing some debris now. And so when that's done, we're doing a presentation to the Environmental Commission in November, which is the first official presentation of our results. That was the
Okay, but
timeline.
can we as board members get a copy of that to see what he has done?
Sure.
I don't think this is an unreasonable thing, and there's nothing combative to my attitude of any kind. I'm inquiring.
Great. When would you like that report?
Whenever you send it to all of us, it doesn't matter when, Chris, it could be tomorrow, but the fact that we've taken town monies and given to this person to do work for the town, the money has to be accounted for.
Great. So by November, we're going to have a full presentation of all the maps that have been created and the deep research that not only Andrew did, but the ECC, like Mark, doing bird inventory, walking with Erin and Madeline. We've been gathering a lot of research that we're looking forward to present in about a month and a half.
You're presenting all of this. All I'm asking for is a simple report explaining where Andrew spent the money that we gave him. I don't need the whole report right now. He must have some idea of what he spent and what he's done.
The money went to his services, B, for what he did. It didn't go to purchase items.
No, I didn't say it did, but can we get a report back saying what he did
Well,
there?
but you
That's
just
all I
used,
want.
you just used the language where he spent the money. He didn't spend the
All right.
money.
Where
We
the
were
12,
but we signed a contract with him and agreed to pay half upfront and half at the completion. And
right.
when they make that presentation, that will be at the that will be the completion of the contract. So
Okay, so there's
it's
no,
no different than us fronting money to a contractor to do work at a building or something like that.
okay, but that,
So he is still in progress of completing his contract.
okay. Before we go forward to get this grant, which I understand Chris is in a time frame.
No, the grant was due already. This resolution, if we don't pass it, we will not be able to get the money. We paid we presented the grant and they give you until your next board meeting to do the resolution of support. So this resolution of support is for the grant that was due last Friday.
And in order to move forward with you, B, I'll send you an email and I'll CC everyone on the board with where we've spent the money with Andrew and what progress we've made.
It's not a matter of spending, so there's a misstatement. My God. I'm just trying, I'm being asked questions about what's going on, so I'm trying to get the answers from you, Chris, the person who knows.
Perfect. Those maps that I presented that you saw in the
Yes.
grant application, they took
Yes.
time and money to put all that mapping together. And also all of the inventorying of species that we're doing is deep knowledge that a permaculture expert would have. So the inventorying we're doing is a big part of what we're spending money on so far. And then
So,
we'll make the final payment in November when he presents.
correct. But all of this that you've just named, including the mapping and everything, is then covered in the $2,500. Is that correct?
Correct.
Simple answer.
B,
Very
that was
simple.
all included in the information that we voted on when we awarded the $2,500 contract.
I'm aware of that, but I'd like to know again as we move forward to another step to accept other monies.
Okay. I also emailed all the information for this grant to all the board members,
Yes.
and nobody reached out to me to ask any questions after I sent it to you. So I'm just.
I got it at 8:30 last night.
Okay.
8:30 last night.
Yeah, I understand, B, but it really wasn't that much information.
I don't know about everybody else on this board, but strangely enough, at 8:30 at night, I have a life. And if you want me to look at something the night before a meeting, I will probably look at it. But as far as giving you a comment at 8:30 at night, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Allow me to share one thing real quick. So this is what we voted on, and it has at the end the deliverables of phase one. And phase one deliverables include background research on all species on the property, walk and thoroughly assess the site. Both of those have been done. To get a good layout for trails that lead to significant or rare locations, begin to assess our needs for tree planting, signage, sitting in observation areas, steps or switchbacks. Some minor, all that has happened. The next thing before November will be some minor cutting, moving material, flagging and staking to go over the ideas with Chris Hewitt and other town stakeholders, including the town board. And
Okay.
what will be
Chris,
completed in November.
do you need permits to clear around the stream? Because as we found out by the bridge the other day in Accord, and these are the other reasons I'm asking these questions, because we were there the other day. In order for you to cut trees and do things around a stream, it's necessary, I would think, to see if it's okay with DEC.
B, I can answer that question because I am very familiar with the DEC regulations. As long as we are not entering the stream or changing the bank of the stream, we are not required to get any permits.
I heard that the other day also, but I don't know what trees he's speaking of cutting down. In our instance the other day, we could see, Mike. We can
Understood,
see
but I knew this answer before the other day. So Aaron, did you want to say something?
I was just adjusting my light.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Um,
And the
they're
other
they're
thing,
they're not doing anything that requires a permit. B. They're clearing some brush off property that is creating some trails, which
and this
we agreed
prop-
to back whenever we agreed to the contract of that, which was months ago. So
okay, and this is all on the town property.
correct. We are not going off. We could not go off town property and do anything on anybody else's property.
Okay, I understand that also, but we are now opening places for other people to go. And as we have seen, and like I tried to say, when I was told that I was combative, we saw this summer the exact happenings of people who go to explore the property in this town. They do not regard it as something in their own home. They regard it as a fact that they can leave trash and do whatever they want. We don't have the ability to monitor
B,
Verneuil.
this isn't open to the public yet. It's not.
I'm a,
It's the contractor that we hired doing some work. You're
Well,
jumping
you-
ahead to
He's
when it's going to be
fully-
open for the
I am
public.
jumping ahead
And he's
because you
also
need,
fully insured and he's allowed on the property, but no one else is.
Right.
right. You got to look ahead, okay? You've got the
I'm
grant.
I'm not
coming.
saying that's wrong, B, but right now I'm just asking for a vote on to approve submitting a grant fund. That's all we're asking for at this moment.
And I, in turn, am asking questions for later on as to how and how far has this been planned out? Okay, you start with grant money, and then at some point you're going to have. I'm hoping we can always get grant money. Of course, that's a smart thing. But at some point, taxpayers are going to have to input into this if that's not the case. And we have to look at that also. Today, yes, it's grant money. What happens when the grant money's gone?
The grant
Do
money
we
is for a specific thing, B, and I think Chris, when we voted on this proposal back, Chris, when did we vote on that proposal? When was that made? I think Chris laid it out very well back then.
You know, that's
I'll find the original
very
resolution right now.
true. You act like everything is carved in stone, and that's a problem
No,
because
I don't, B, but I have a problem that you are making all these suppositions that
I'm asking questions, Mike, and I have that right. Strangely
I
enough,
understand you have a right to ask questions, but you're predicting people
No,
going on the property. All we're asking for right now is a resolution to get grant money. If you want, I'll cancel the resolution and we won't apply.
Is that what I said? Is that really the direction you want to go?
No, it's not, but you've taken this conversation in a whole different direction than is necessary at this moment.
Can I say something?
Thank you, please,
I-
Aaron.
I think right now, the park project is not in a proposal phase. And I think what my understanding be is that we will be voting on any aspect of what actually happens. So we have not, as a board yet, we have not voted to actually create a park yet. The only thing that we've allowed is for that exploration to happen, and we will get a proposal in November that we will then be able to discuss and vote on. And the grant isn't, my understanding is that it isn't sealing anything. It would just allow us, if we got it, to use those funds to build the kiosk, if it is something that we end up doing.
Common sense dictates if you're going to build a kiosk, you're going to have people because you're giving information to people.
We eventually will have people, yes.
To answer your last question, Mike, it was the last resolution was passed March 5th. And if we have a public feedback period that says we shouldn't have a local park that highlights our unique beauty and all the unique species in this amazing property, then we don't have to take the $5,000.
You know, I'm going to tell you what happened. I did a very strange thing. I took a hunter safety course and I suddenly realized that this area is a very beautiful area. And I'm not sure that every place, and I didn't know the town was in business to make parks, since we have one we should take care of and a linear park called a rail trail. I was not aware to how much the DEC plays in this, and there's a space for them and there's a reason. And that's what prompted a lot of these questions. And if you're having problems with these questions, you're going to have worse problems when it does come to a proposal to the public. And you're
Mike?
playing with town property. And I don't mean playing poorly. I mean, you're using town property. And I'm going to tell you what, Chris, Mike, whoever wants to hear this, when you start using town property and you don't look ahead like you want us to do all the time, Mike, is look ahead, look ahead. I want to look for a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan. And now you're telling me that I'm looking too far ahead because all you're talking about is a grant? Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow the rules that have already been put into play.
I'm not saying you're looking too far ahead, B, but what I'm saying is at this point, we're applying for a grant that is a timely consideration. If we don't move forward with the park, we can turn back the money for the grant if we receive it. We won't get this opportunity again, or may not for quite some
I
time.
know there's always.
I asked Chris to look into this, and he, with my approval, went ahead and filed the grant because it was due. And if we don't do this resolution, then that's fine. We can
No
move.
one said not to do the resolution.
I understand, B, but
Go with that. I'm asking questions, so now I'm saying don't go with the resolution.
that's not what I said at all, B. I'm just saying that your questions are not germane to the resolution. It's talking about the next steps. We already discussed and debated the other part back in March, and I believe you voted for it. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But
That was
Do you
unanimous.
not listen when people speak, Mike? And I said to you, then I took this class and I got a whole different view of rules, regulations, and everything else set forward. Shame on me at 69 for taking something and learning something different.
B,
And
you're
now I have a different approach.
you're being a little dramatic right now, B. Nobody said shame on you.
You want to call me names? He's already told me I was combative. And at that point, I was not combative. I was asking questions, which, as a board member, strangely enough, I have a right to do. You're also telling me that I'm not sticking to the germane topic. It is all about the topic. And I have asked specific questions. Maybe I didn't ask them back then. And maybe I shouldn't have voted yes, but I did. And I still have the right to ask questions now.
Agreed,
And I
B.
did not understand that this town was in a business to build parks. We already have parks and we have a linear park called a rail trail. They need to be taken care of before we expand into anything else. Now I am upset.
So would you like to
Now
vote
I
on this
am
resolution?
disappointed.
Adam, do you have anything to add to this discussion? I'd love to vote on the resolution.
I would
before.
too.
Adam's muted, unfortunately.
We ready?
I'm gonna ask you to call a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Anowen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hagen Depew,
No.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor
course.
Baden.
Aye. Resolution passes 4-1.
Which you knew it would. That's not the issue. It would have gone differently had you not decided to start stringing me up and calling me names. You would have had
I'm just gonna say, B, I did not call you a name. I said you were being dramatic because when you said shame on me for taking a class at 69, I don't think that had anything to do with the conversation, but
It did indeed, because that's where I gleaned a little more information.
well, I
And
would
I
just
said
add that as
again,
the planning board
excuse
chair,
me.
I knew all those DEC regulations, so.
Well, hooray for you and screw the rest of us.
No, but let's move on. Thank you. Next, Aaron, I'd like to talk about the pricing for the transfer station. For the board's information, Aaron and I have been discussing, we have spoken to other supervisors in moving forward with the idea of how to be able to take residential, keyword residential, loose construction demolition or loose MSW that is not bagged without a scale. The pricing on the scale is considerably higher than I think we can afford. No other transfer station has a scale in my calling around. So we have looked at some other people's ideas. I am going to share what Aaron and I have worked out. There are a couple differences of
Mike, why don't you let Erin share it? She's worked on it.
I'm sharing the document, B, on my computer. I don't know if Aaron is prepared to right now. It's the same document I emailed everybody yesterday. Aaron, do you have it available? Would you like to share it?
Well, I have one that I actually made a couple of edits to. So whatever, like we can share that, or we can share the one that you sent out, Mike, which was
Well, it's probably fair to share what I sent to everybody
Yeah,
first.
I
But
think that's fine. Yeah, go ahead
Okay.
and put that up.
thank you. I just need a moment to get it up. Okay, there it is shared. So the first part is that it cannot be more than 2 cubic yards. That is the requirement of our contract. Next is it must be residential users only. We cannot accept any commercial, business, or the keyword farm refuse accepted. That is per the RRA. The farm was not known to me until it was told to me by them. We are also saying that no vehicles larger than a pickup or the equivalent, and I'll add the word equivalent, tow behind car trailer. Oh, I did say it, tow behind car trailer of equivalent size. There cannot be a mechanical tip vehicle. Then the stuff that's highlighted in yellow, in the yellow background is from the current website, town website. That is what we are currently charging. Aaron is proposing bulk loose in truck or trailer, maximum 2 cubic yards, $40 a yard, see guide. We already have no commercial C&D can be accepted, no more than 2 cubic yards. I would change that to say what it says up at the top, no commercial, business, or farm C&D. Up to 30-gallon bag or can is $8 in Aaron's proposal. Do you want to talk about that, Aaron, while we move through?
Yeah, I just realized yesterday when I was looking at it again that it should be 4,
Okay.
because it should just be double we want it to just be double what the municipal solid waste is. So in an edited.
Well, no, that would be 8 because, up to 30 gallons.
Yeah.
Understood. That's 2.
Because
And yep.
I was looking at doing like a 55-gallon bag size, but then I realized that's it's like a bigger amount. And when we get into that, it's like a quarter of a yard. So it would be $20. And I thought we should, anyway, that's why I went with the 30-gallon size.
Okay.
But we could do another size if the board wants and do like 4 and 8, but.
I would just like a clarification on what is the $4 punch then?
So what I'm proposing is that we have a C and D in a bag rate, which would cost $4 as opposed to our 2 for household garbage. Because the thinking is that some C and D weighs more by its density, like shingles, brick, stuff like that is like 2 or 3 times as dense as household waste. So we would be charging, like we're kind of just guessing that's going to be about double the weight.
Aaron,
Okay.
a question though, with it being bagged, would we just be sort of working on the honor system, or are we going to ask the transfer station guys to investigate every bag? I just don't know how we would differentiate between the two.
I think it would have to be, they would ask, like I've heard Harry doing when people come in with their truck, he'll say, is it household or is it C and D? And then they'll say, I don't know. And then he'll sort of ask them what it is. And then he kind of makes that determination.
Okay.
But we've also never had this option before. So the other thing I was thinking is people that might have like a small project or some of that kind of garbage they're wanting to get rid of, it would be an easy way for them to just put it in a bag and
Now, what about if it's a C&D bag that's a 35, 30 or 35? Because we do 30 gallons or greater for MSW is $4. Would we do a larger contractor size bag for C&D as well?
we could go up to 55 gallons, I think. You know, if we wanted, that's why I was saying we could do like a $4 and $8 bagged.
Okay. Because I'm thinking if it's a bigger bag, a 35, that might be $12. That might be basically the way we view it is we treat a 30 the large, the $4 punch, the 30 gallon or greater. We consider that to be 35 pounds.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's how we've always done it. So I'm thinking a larger bag might weigh more if it had brick and stuff in it, but I also saw then, I don't know if a larger bag would even contain that kind of weight without breaking.
Right.
So
I got the idea from other towns.
okay. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just don't know if A, if it's necessary, and B, if it confuses the issue more. That's my only concern.
What does the rest of the board think? Does the board think having a bag option for C&D confuses it for people?
I'm afraid of people knowing that they can get away with saying it's just MSW. They may do that because it's almost double the price. So I do think that's going to be difficult
to enforce.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
If we're going to take loose C&D, maybe we just say all C&D has to be loose, and we can adjust the prices accordingly based on the size of the load. I just don't know.
How do other towns handle it without a scale?
Some towns do have this a bag rate and a yard rate. There was one town that only had a bag rate and didn't accept it loose. But then most towns just have a yardage weight, which is usually at least double what the yardage weight for household garbage.
Right. Well, why don't we move on, and you can see the rest of this, and we can kind of go back to it, because the rest of this in the guide might explain some of this some more.
Yeah.
So tires would remain the same as currently, the appliances, the compact, the light bulbs. This I received, this other disposables. Aaron and I based this on what the town of Plattekill is doing, and they added this disclaimer that if something is wet, it is charged double. I asked the supervisor how much they get that way, and he said, you'd be surprised how much we get that's just been sitting out in the rain, and it really adds weight.
Oh, shit.
So these prices are from Plattekill. One thing Aaron and I talked about was keeping everything in even increments, $2 increments, because that way we could do punches as opposed to having somebody be forced to write a check. So like the sleeper sofa and the wood or plastic furniture, we either should go to 24 or 26 or 8 or 10 on the, my guess is I would go down
Yeah.
because our cards are in $8 increments. So a sleeper sofa would be 3 cards. Otherwise, I think they're pretty reasonable. I think their averages, I mean, that's saying a chair or a kitchen or an office furniture weighs 35 pounds, essentially is what we're saying by that. We're saying living room furniture weighs about 52 pounds. We're saying a sofa weighs about 150 pounds. We're saying a sleeper sofa weighs probably about 210 pounds. I think those are pretty legitimate and realistic numbers.
Do you want to leave the wooden plastic at 9, or did you want to do?
No, we would go to 8.
Yeah.
We'd go to 8 with that, and sleeper sofa go to 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making the edits as we're talking.
Thank you, because I'm in a PDF, so I'm not able to do that. The mattresses, we base that on the estimated weights that Aaron found online. The only provision for the king size is the fact that I have a king size bed, and the box spring is 2 separate pieces, but it's 2 individual that equal a king. So I think we just might want to clarify that in the king each piece. Either that or the box springs, we only charge,
The twin.
we would charge $8 for each one.
I was gonna say, right, isn't each of it's 2
Each
twin
one is
box
essentially a
springs
twin
or
size.
2,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so they'd go
So
under twin and the mattress would go under king.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I would recommend then that we up the king size to 16. And so if you got rid of a king size bedroom set, it would cost you $32. We get a lot of mattresses. They're also, though, if you order a new mattress from a company, usually they take away the old. But we do get a fair amount of mattresses. The rugs and carpets, Aaron, do you want to talk about where you came up with the weights on those?
Yeah, I just looked up averages again of standard rugs and then carpeting. It really, really, really ranges because I might take away the word pads because I think those are a lot lighter weight.
Adam,
But
you might be able to weigh in on this because I know you worked in a carpet store.
Yep, yeah, for 20 years, and the biggest cost we ever that you incur is getting rid of carpet. It varies. Foam pad can be very lightweight. Hair and jute pad can be very heavy. Synthetic carpets can be extraordinarily thick, and they're actually weighed by the ounce, anywhere from a 10-ounce carpet to a 100-ounce. And what they're talking about is the weight per square yard. So again, you got some good numbers in there. But most people are going to bring it as loose waste. Nobody's going to bring this in so again, I like what you're saying about a pickup truck load and then using your averages.
Okay. So we're talking $10 for a sink or toilet. Then the cubic yard. So to remember that a 3x3x3 space is 1 cubic yard, that equals 27 square feet.
and then Mike, I did Mike and I talked last night after I did this, and I also talked to Charlie Whitaker today about like no loads larger than a truck. So in the version that I have, I edited this guide to just say that a standard 8-foot truck is 2 yards, but like a short bed truck is, I think, you know, maybe just for the board to know, a short bed truck is 1.5.
Right.
So
So I'm going to move past the 3 highlighted ones that Aaron put in there, but we can go back to, so this is what I found online from standard size pickup trucks. So a half-ton pickup truck, which is a gross weight, a class 2 weight. I was going to put in $75 per load. That would be an average of 625 pounds under our current pricing of $240 a ton. And then I put in the types of trucks that would be under that class: the Nissan, the Ford, the Ram, the Toyota, the Chevy. Those are the standard manufacturers of those. Of course, we may always get differences, but I also think it would be easier for whoever is working the window to just ask the person coming in, you know, or look, what's your model truck? And if it's that size, it's $75. If it's a 3/4 truck, it's $100. And if it's the 1 ton, it's $125. Now, I would agree that we should probably up to the next highest, you know, if it's an 8-foot bed, maybe add an extra $20 charge or something like that. Because obviously an 8-foot bed versus a 6-foot bed, you're adding 25% more to the potential load. We also, Aaron and I talked about, this is with a load filled to the top of the vehicle. If you do the math for an 8-foot bed, it's 5 by 8 by 2, which is 80 square feet, and 2 yards is approximately 54 square feet. So it is going to be over 2 cubic yards. However, a 6-foot bed is going to be 56 if it's totally filled, packed to the top. So a 6-foot bed is going to be pretty close to being the 2 yards all the time.
What are you doing for something like a Chevy S10, a smaller truck?
I hadn't thought that far ahead, to be honest. We could do a $50 for that and find the equivalent trucks.
It's still going to go by the bed size, though. I had an S10 for years, and you could fill that thing right up and had the extended bed ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you know, Adam, what is the weight rating on an S10? Because the bed size on an S10 is the same as an F-150.
Yeah, but you can have a cylinder engine in it and the regular leaf springs. I'll look it up now.
I think the thing that I'm kind of worried about with this is that I feel like someone could have the same exact load in 2 different kinds of trucks and they get charged 2 different prices.
I understand. I feel like, you know, in some cases we're going to make out, and in other cases we're not going to make out. And I think, you know, we're going to have to deal with the average. And remember, we're doing this as an option. Anybody who thinks that they're being overcharged always has the ability to drive to New Paltz or Kingston and get rid of it themselves.
So Mike, if I automatically have a 1-ton pickup, I'm going to, if I have a 1-ton pickup, I'm automatically going to get charged 125 if it's full to the brim.
Unless we give Harry the ability to say, okay, you're only half full, you're only 2/3 full. My concern is that becomes very arbitrary.
Yeah, and I understand that we have to set something, but I'm just asking.
Yeah.
So Chevy S10 between 1,067 and 1,800 pounds, depending on the model.
That's okay. So that's half of a half ton, because the payload capacity of a Was that the payload capacity, Adam?
Yep.
Okay, so it is less than
But it would
the
depend.
3,000.
Yeah, it depends on the year. It depends on the engine. And so again, for rough figures, between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds. So maybe we have 3 designations of pickup truck: small, half ton, and then large. But I'm telling you, and I know we have to figure this out, but it's starting to get pretty confusing to say, you know, if I bring up my S10, I'm getting $50 with carpet in it. But if I brought up my dad's F250, it's going to charge me $125 with the same amount of carpet in
Well,
there.
if you just bring in carpet, we can do it by the piece. If you're bringing a mixture of stuff, this is when you just throw you take a deck down or you do whatever, and you fill the back of your pickup truck and you bring it.
Yeah.
If it's by the piece,
And then what about people that have old cars that load up the station wagon full of stuff? Like I'm just getting a little confused as we're talking about it, and I know we can figure it out. I'm just worried about the enforcement of it, quite honestly.
No, I understand.
That's why I asked.
The alternative is we stick to just bagged,
Or many towns do a yardage, and I think it's just that sort of like a full bed pickup truck, if filled, is 2 yards. Like, I think that's how they're doing it. Is it's not exact. There's a little bit of discretion that I'm sure is like, we'd have to like talk to Harry about how to make those decisions so that people feel like they're being treated fairly. But most towns are just doing a yardage. But it is what I kind of came up with was based on average weight of C&D, which is, if it's heavy stuff, it's heavier. And so the pricing, if you do the pricing that I came up with and apply it in the way that Mike did, it ends up costing more. I think what Mike was doing was thinking of it in a weight way, and what I was doing was thinking of it in a volume way, where we're applying average weights.
The reason I was thinking of it in the weight way is ultimately we're charged by the weight.
Right.
So we either have to come up with an average weight for the volume, and in my mind, doing it this way was sort of more fair, because we're assuming the size of your vehicle is only going to carry X number of pounds of weight. Like if you were to put that 1,000 pounds in an F-150, you're going to run the risk of doing damage to your springs. So
I feel like any way we do it without the scale, unfortunately, like you said earlier, Mike, like it's gonna not fit in every scenario, no matter if we go with a yardage or if we go with this. Like, we're gonna have people that are, it's not gonna work out. And I think the biggest thing is kind of like what you were saying, Adam, is what's the easiest thing to enforce, and the thing that's going to be easiest for residents to.
So let me ask you a question. What do we charge for a yard of heavy commercial waste right now?
We don't know, because it's $240 a ton.
Yeah, we were charging $240 a ton.
So, but I got you. So we're not quite sure how much a yard weighs.
If it was a yard, I can give you. So if it was a yard of shingles, it would have cost $84 for 1 yard. If it was a yard of shingles.
Okay. But
Adam, I have a C&D weight to volume conversion. So yeah, so if somebody has concrete, 1 cubic yard of concrete is 2 tons.
Right.
Versus 1 cubic yard of drywall is a 1/4 ton. So it really depends on what the material is.
But that's why I know you're going off the volume and the weight capacity of the vehicle. that's the fairest. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be up there saying you got a half ton F-150, with old, plywood and plexiglass in there, and this is your price.
Well,
Like,
the other option is, though, anybody that thinks we're overcharging can drive it to Kingston or New Paltz and go over the scale and then pay by the pound and pay considerably cheaper because they charge 105 a ton.
So could we do this? And it's just a suggestion. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it. If a 6-foot bed is 2 yards and an 8-foot bed is, we said 2.5 yards. Could we take
An 8-foot bed would be 8 by 5 is 40 times 2 is 80 cubic feet, which would be and 27 cubic feet is 1 yard. So it's about it's roughly 3. An 8-foot bed is roughly 3 cubic yards.
So we have 2 and we have 3. What I'd like us to kind of consider is if we could take the average weight of C&D, not concrete, but not feathers either, whatever's in the middle, and then do it by the bed length. Because my thought is this, that not everybody who brings their vehicle there has it filled to the maximum capacity. Some people do, some people don't. They're not always going to have concrete in there. They're not always going to have feathers. But what I'd love to do is come up with a price that says you have a 6-foot bed, and whether it's half, 3/4, or 100% full, this is what we charge, and play the averages. I couldn't see us getting burned that bad, but I think it's a way easier way to enforce it, at least for now, and then we can add to this later. If that makes
looking at this chart, Adam, drywall would be about $60 for a cubic yard, with our $240 a ton. Scrap wood would be about 6.5 times, be a little bit less. So it would be about 40. So if you brought in a container totally filled with wood, it would probably be between 40 and 50 per cubic yard. So that's where I think essentially the $100 a cubic yard is pretty fair. The reason I was going down with one and up with the other is because of the weight capacity of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be more fair, but I think basically if we're going to do that, we got to go to 100 yards. I mean, $100 per load. If you're full, we could give Harry the option of saying they're only half full and go to 50.
Yeah.
Well, and that also, what we would be charging then would be $50 for a yard. If it's 100 for a truck.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That so would, a 6-foot bed would be 100, an 8-foot bed would be 150, assuming it was full, regardless of content. And we're going to take on bad material every once in a while. It'll be in our favor, and the person will get hurt a little bit. But in lieu of not having a scale and not having something that's so big we can't, we're asking Harry to do the unmanageable. It might be a good starting place.
One thing that I wanted to throw out, I was working on it before our meeting started, and again, maybe you guys will just say this is too confusing, but one thing that Socrates does, which I really thought about going this way, is they differentiate between 2 types of C&D. And so shingle, sheetrock, laminates are $65 a yard. So because those are heavier. Again, this is Socrates. And then wood, fiberboard, like lighter weight stuff is $45. So that's like closer to their municipal solid waste rate, which is $40. So we could also, if you guys wanted, we could sort of have that.
Well, Aaron, looking at this chart that I sent you, mixed waste, which is sort of considered, it's under trash, but it's mixed waste is 0.175, which would mean it's 6 cubic yards per ton, roughly.
Right.
Be about 5.5 cubic yards per ton. Which would mean even if we said 6 cubic yards, so we're charging $240 a ton right now. So if you divided that by 6, it's $40 a yard, which would mean a 2-yard capacity would be $80. So in essence, I think, I mean, we can go to a set price for the 6-foot and an 8-foot bed, but that's kind of why I think the 3 levels, depending on the vehicle, to me, that was the easiest way to do it, is say, you're driving this kind of vehicle, this is how much you pay. I think it's easiest for us, it's easiest for the people too. Unless you wanted to go to a half a load, full load of each type and let the people at the window determine that.
You know what, just getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, what we could do for next year's permitting is have, instead of the resident have the permit, we could permit the vehicle. And that would give us a lot more control and Harry a lot more stability, knowing that if my dad, permits his 1,500 pickup truck, this is what he should expect to pay per load. But if, somebody with a landscape business has got a 2,500 or 3,500, this is what they should expect to pay.
No, they won't get to use our transfer
We
station.
can't take it if they're a landscaping business.
Or, my apologies.
And we're
Somebody who's
still,
got a lightweight truck that they're just zipping around town in,
Yeah.
should expect to pay that. But again, I think that, maybe something for the new year when we take a look at permitting. But like I said,
But I know many residential users who have 450s because they tow a boat or they tow a camper.
Yep.
And they utilize that vehicle as their day-to-day vehicle. So that's why I went that far and included this. I don't deny that the majority of them are probably going to be the F-150s, the 1500s. But
Mike, aren't we still only talking about 2 cubic yards per truck?
Yes.
correct.
So,
The size of the bed is the size of the bed, so it's still going to be 2 cubic yards, but the difference in the weight goes with the payload of the vehicle. I mean, unless we weigh each and every vehicle, we have to come up with a generalized assumption.
I just think that assumes that someone with a heavier duty vehicle will just always have heavier
have a
stuff.
heavier load.
I
So I just like the idea of doing, if we want it to be, we want to say no more than 2 cubic yards, but then we say, well, a full size pickup truck bed is 2 cubic yards, and we have a rate and a half one is this, and like a trailer, we consider this as a guide.
How about,
I thought we weren't
I
taking.
do like your idea about doubling it for the wet material. I think that would help us out a lot. I think
Yep.
if people knew they had to bring dry material, they wouldn't leave it out in the rain.
and how about if we did this, Aaron, if we do what you just said, a 6-foot bed is one charge, an 8-foot bed is another. But if it's viewed and it's full of bricks or asphalt or things like that, then we had a surcharge on it.
There you go.
That I like that, Mike, because
Yeah.
that way, if it's like one brick, we're not like charging someone a high rate.
Yeah, but if somebody just knocked down a brick wall in their yard and they're trying to get rid of it, we don't
Yeah.
get
Right.
Yeah.
stuff that's too heavy. So maybe a $50 surcharge or.
I like that because then we can add that to the schedule and just say like if it's
Yep.
all of this, subject to surcharge.
But we're not going to I'm just clarifying. So we're not going to differentiate whether it's a half a load, a full load. If it's a 6-foot bed, it's this price. If it's an 8-foot bed, it's this price. And if it contains a lot of heavy material like bricks or asphalt or rubble,
Concrete,
charge
rocks, something.
a
Yeah.
surcharge.
Well, like I said, you got that list there of things that are heavy, that are typically, let's just put that list together and use that, if somebody re-roofed their, half of their barn.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the things that are heavy are rubble and concrete.
All right.
Brick isn't on this list.
But it should be added.
Yeah, we
And
should figure out what
shingles.
brick or asphalt. Asphalt is heavy.
And shingles.
Shingles aren't on my list, but
So
I'm
if-
going off of I like Googled the common C and D stuff, and shingles are, I think, 800.
Scrap metal is heavy, but scrap metal goes directly in our metal bin, so we don't care about that because we're not charging for that. So
So we'll put an asterisk on there that says, if more than 50% of the load is made of these heavy materials, a 50 to whatever the price we determine, surcharge will be added per truckload. That's all. That's really easy.
okay, so just to clarify, because I'd like us to vote on this tonight, because I'd like to try to get it in place for Harry for the weekend, and so we can advertise to people that we can start taking this again. Unless the board wants to put it off till next Thursday, but I'd rather not. So to clarify, we're gonna, for a 6-foot bed, we're gonna charge $100 per load. For an 8-foot bed, $125. Is that what I'm hearing?
Is it 125 or 150? Because you said an 8-foot bed is 3 yards and a 6-foot bed is 2.
Right, so it's a third more, so it shouldn't
Well,
go to one.
We're saying an 8-foot bed is 2 yards.
No.
I wrote down
No, an
bed
8-foot bed is not, a 6-foot bed is 2
3.
yards.
If
an 8-foot bed is 3
we
yards.
cannot let anyone bring in
You
more,
can't take more than 2 yards.
we can't take more than 2 yards. So an 8-foot bed filled like up to, not overflowing, not just like it fits in the 8-foot bed, is 2 cubic yards.
It has to be.
Okay. Well, then maybe we go to the 75 and 100, and if the 6-foot bed is overflowing, then
Right.
then he's allowed to charge the 100,
Yes.
because the 6-foot bed to the top, if it is filled, every square inch of it is 54.
Yeah.
It's 6 by 5 by 2. It's 60.
Yep. Says here the bed of a full-size standard pickup truck has dimensions of 8 feet long, 5.33 inches wide, 1.5 high. When loaded, level
Oh, it's only 1.5. I thought there were 2. So
5 yards of material.
I'm
Sorry, how many
Adam?
yards, Adam?
0.5.
2.5.
Okay.
Then that's an 8-foot bed.
That's an
Yep.
8-foot bed.
Okay.
But
So
they
then,
also, the other thing is just, I know like this, you guys might have read my email because I sent email to Mike. I went down this rabbit hole for like 2 hours calculating the dimensions of the truck bed and being like, we can't accept more than 2 yards. But when I talked to Charlie today, he was like, can't accept anything more than a pickup truck. So
Yeah.
I feel like we just say that's 2 yards.
Mhm.
Most people aren't going to have it full. They might
So-
even have their bagged garbage on top.
so
So
just to clarify, Aaron, he said today we can take a pickup truck, because I thought the other day he said to both of us we couldn't take a pickup
well,
truck.
listen, it wasn't what we were talking about, but
Okay.
he said it.
Okay.
You know,
That's
I'm
our
gonna say he may have said that, but in the contract,
Yes.
it's 2 yards.
Right.
So let's not do more than 2
Yeah,
yards. An
Right.
8-foot bed, they can't have to overflowing.
Right.
exactly. Yes.
And
So
anyway,
then we're back to the question of the pricing. Do we go 100 and 125 or 75 and 100?
Okay. So 100 would be
125 is approximately a little over half a ton.
we're
If we
calling
were
that.
charging 240 a ton. So if you doubled 125, it would be 250. So 125 is just slightly over half a ton.
Right. It's Wait. Yes, exactly. It's 1,040.
1,042 actually. It's
Is what
as I say it, I'm realize it's on the screen. So I think then that's what we do. We say a 6-foot bed is $100 and an 8-foot bed is $125.
right.
And we allow Harry the addition of $25 or $20, which do we want to do, if it contains more than half stone, brick, or
Shingle.
asphalt.
Asphalt or rubble.
Make it even to match the ticket if they want to use the ticket, so it'd be 20 or 24, right?
Yeah, well, because we're doing the 125 already, when we get up to that price, most people are not paying with tickets because that would
Yeah, I
be
know that,
30
but I'm
tickets.
just,
Yeah. I think in these numbers, we don't have to worry about tickets.
Okay.
Maybe the
Okay.
surcharge, though, it is a good idea, B. So why don't we do 20 on the surcharge?
well, 20 or 24.
Yeah.
24 then.
I think 24.
Yeah.
So then the other thing I wanted to bring up
Is
is,
that going to get too complicated, though? I don't think most people are going to pay with tickets. Why don't we
No,
just do 25?
Fine, I
But-
don't, didn't matter.
It's $150 then.
Yeah.
25.
We
right?
also we will note that if an 8-foot bed is overflowing, it cannot be accepted.
right.
So,
Okay, so can we repeat this? A standard 8-foot truck bed,
a standard 6-foot truck bed is $100.
100,
An 8-foot truck bed is 125,
125.
And we can't,
and the 8-footer
Accept it.
truck bed cannot be filled above the rim.
above this, well, yeah, you don't want to say sideboard, but the body of the truck.
Right, above the body of the truck. I mean, if there's an item or two sticking up, yeah, but it's not like,
And
You
then the surcharge,
and a surcharge of $25 if the C&D material contains greater than 50% brick, asphalt, or
Concrete.
rubble.
And
Concrete.
I'd add
Concrete.
shingles in there too.
What's the weight on shingles, Aaron?
it's like 800 pounds per yard. So it's almost double, it's almost triple the C&D or the municipal solid waste.
Yeah, so
line.
it's basically it's 0.3 ton per yard, or 0.25.
Yeah, it would be $96 for a
Well, if
yard.
that's the case, then I don't think we need to add shingles to that, because I mean the drywall is 0.2. Drywall is the same weight according to my chart, 0.25. So I wouldn't add shingles to that. I think the shingles are going to bring it up to the 833 pounds. Because you're saying it would be $96 and we're charging $100. So,
But 96 a yard, not for the 2
Yard,
yard.
not 2
It
yards.
would be
oh, per
200.
yard.
It would be
I'm sorry.
200. If someone came
Okay.
in with a truck bed, it would cost 200 at our old.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still in the yard thing
Yeah.
because that's how I've been thinking about it for like
Yeah.
3 days.
Okay. So we add shingles in that too then.
Brick, shingles, rubble, concrete.
Asphalt.
Asphalt.
Okay. And
Um,
then we are
And then
also-
so we have all this settled. We're gonna not do the highlighted yellow, except we can put in there 3 by 3 by 3 equals 1 cubic yard.
right.
You and I can probably work on this offline tomorrow to get the finessing of the document.
Okay.
Now, just backtracking to these prices, we all agree on these prices, except we're gonna make sleeper sofa 24, wood plastic furniture $8, and the king size is gonna be 16.
Correct.
Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay, and we're
No.
gonna do the furniture and rugs charge double if wet. And mattresses too should be added to that. If somebody's
Oh,
left their
sorry
mattress
about
sitting
that.
outside,
That
yeah,
was my mistake.
yeah.
Furniture.
Mike, while we're doing this, does any of this play into with car tires and things?
No, because the car tires, we already have our prices and that hasn't
I see
changed.
that here. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
that.
we
Okay,
don't,
good.
we don't go to the RRA with our tires. We have
Okay.
another vendor. We probably will have to upgrade them next year because I'm sure they're gonna raise their prices, but for now, For now, we're breaking even.
Okay,
And then, so back to then the bagged, bagged C&D and the loose MSW.
Mike, can I interrupt here for a minute?
Yep.
Where you have your C and D and then the red, no commercial C and D can be accepted, and then no
Mhm.
more than 2 cubic yards. Can
Right.
you specify no more than 2 cubic yards of residential C and D? Because somebody's gonna read that and say, well, you said no commercial C and D, but then you said 2 cubic yards.
Understood. I
So if we
think
can
what we'll
just-
do is we'll get rid of the no more than 2 cubic yards, because we're already gonna say that.
Right, you have
Yeah.
that in other places,
I
right?
just, yeah, I just deleted that and I
Yeah,
put in our,
it should still say no commercial C&D can, and it should say no business, commercial, or farm
Yeah.
C&D can be accepted.
Okay.
I know we've already said it, but we'll say it again.
yep, okay, got it.
Okay, so then the last remaining question is how we deal with the loose MSW, if we even want to deal with it. And that's the person who comes in with bags of garbage and says, I don't want to go across. In the past, they were the ones who would go across the scale because they only wanted to pay by the pound instead of by the bag, because yeah, if you average it out, they probably are not, every bag is not 35 pounds. The other way is we just say we only take MSW in bags and not loose.
Or if it's loose, you just get charged the truck rate.
I mean, there is some people who might bring it in cans.
Oh,
You know what I mean? They might have the standard cans that the garbage haulers pick up that they bought, and they just put the cans in the truck and bring them.
right.
I don't know how we do that then.
I think they charge the $4 for that.
Per can,
Yeah.
because those are 35 gallon.
Yeah, I mean, we could put another household waste size if we want, because they are charging just the $4 for one of those big cans, which is
Yeah, but
probably,
most of those big cans are probably 35 gallons, so it's already the same size as what we're charging for the 35 gallon bag.
then I think we take, then I think we take I think it might be confusing to have, since we're really trying to encourage this sort of like volume system of like the size of the vehicle coming in. I think it would be really confusing if we had a different rate for MSW.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we just take out the bulk loose in the trailer and we just keep the way it is right now? We could give Harry the verbal okay that if somebody comes in with 3 garbage cans, that he treats it as if it's 3 bags.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
we don't have to advertise that, but
do you want to check the gallonage on those cans at any point?
we
You know,
probably
there's-
should. But I believe that they are 35 gallons. I don't know that they make them bigger than that.
I meant the
I'm
ones,
curious. I'll check.
Okay,
okay, if they're using something from an old garbage company, maybe
Understood.
Christina could tell you
Yep.
what the weight is or what it is.
why don't we
equivalent.
leave it out for now, Aaron? And if we discover something that changes, we can always amend the schedule next week
Right.
if we had to. Does that
So,
seem good to everybody?
yeah.
Okay.
Can I bring up just one more thing that I
Yep.
thought maybe we should add? Because the issue in our contract is that they had was both this issue of like, you can't accept more than 2 yards of anything. But also that our loads themselves would have more than 20, it's supposed to be 25, no more than 25% C&D is the rule. So I just thought I wanted to see what the board thought about just putting on our schedule that we accept a certain amount of construction and demolition debris, meaning if our 3 bins happen to get up to that 25% point, then we have to turn that material away until the next time.
why don't, down in the bottom for bulk loose material, we put an asterisk and said, transfer station has the ability to refuse.
At their discretion.
Reserves the right to refuse C&D materials
Based on accumulation.
based,
at the
right,
land.
based on
Yeah.
percentage
I-
already.
My personal feeling is it's
Deposited.
going to be less of an issue because we no longer have the compactor. So we get on average 100 to 150, 160 bags a day of garbage or more. And they're going in the same bins that the C&D is going in. So because that MSW is now going in there, I think we're gonna be more mixed than we ever were before. Well, I know we will be. Because in the past, that went straight into the compactor.
I hope that's the case, but if it's not, I want us to have it in our policy. And
Yep.
also, just so the board knows that if they do pick up a load that has 50% C&D in it, they will not renew their contract with us. They won't.
Well,
So
Aaron, one thing is I went back through all our bills for this year. And I look back at last year too. Charlie has made statements that we have sent them full loads of C&D. There is not one single billing that is 100% C&D. Most are either all MSW or they are split either 75-25 or 50-50. And I what they're saying and what the record shows don't match up. And I'm not willing to respond just to Charlie's threats.
I that's not what I'm only trying to honor the contract. I'm not, all I'm saying is if there's a load that's 50-50, that is in violation of our
Contract though doesn't say 80-20. That was Charlie's statement says
the
80-20.
contract. The rule is actually 25%.
Is that what
that-
the contract states?
Yes, it can't be more than 10 yards of C&D in a 40-yard.
Okay.
bin.
Okay.
That actually makes it really easy for us with this pickup truck load thing,
That's
because
a good point.
you can't put then three 8-foot beds in any one dumpster. And what do we have? 3 C&D dumpsters. So we have the capacity of 12 right then. Right.
Approximately.
Good point.
That's a great point, Adam. That'll be really helpful for
Yep.
Harry.
Yep, absolutely. So
What are the consequences though, if they're not picking up timely? Like we've got all these bins correctly measured out and we're still overloaded and we stop people from dumping, then is the time, I think, to make the statement maybe that we're behind because we haven't been picked up.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They should, one of the benefits of having the county as our hauler is that they have a responsibility to pick up based on our needs. Whereas the contract haulers don't necessarily have that same. So it should be, if we start running into that issue, you're absolutely right, B. Like they have a responsibility to pick it up.
Then they would be in violation of the contract.
that's correct because the contract clearly states that they must.
That we call them and they come pick it up.
That's what I'm saying. So see, they have a little obligation too, not to let us
Yes.
back up.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So, so Aaron, if that's the case, we're going to take out this, the bulk loosened truck or trailer. We'll take out that section.
Yep.
Do we want to do a pricing for C&D in bags, or we just assume a bag is a bag and leave it as is?
I
I think
think you
it's
guys already
clear.
had me tweet that.
What's that?
You guys already told me to delete that.
Okay, okay. So I think then we have everything, right?
Yes.
Do you have it, Aaron, that you could put it up on the screen? Let me give you screen sharing capability.
Sure.
Okay. I may have to stop my share and then you should be able to take over.
Yep. Mhm. This. Okay, you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got maximum 2 cubic yards, residential users only, no commercial business. Oh, I added contractor
That's fine.
or farm refuse accepted.
Do me a favor, Aaron, just make that no mechanical tip vehicles a separate line.
Okay.
Just do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Then the punch cards, this same. Household waste, we've got the same 30 gallons or greater. Construction and demolition debris, residential only. No commercial C&D can be accepted. No commercial business, contractor or farm refuse accepted. And then bulk loose in truck or trailer, max 2 cubic yards. I added these asterisks. It probably doesn't make much sense, but Mike, we will massage this a little bit.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll put that up next to construction demolition debris,
Okay.
the asterisk, but that's okay where it is for
So-
now.
Transfer station reserves the right to refuse C&D based on the capacity of the transfer station. You guys were all giving me really good lines, but I don't think I got them all. Standard 8-foot truck bed full about 2 cubic yards, 125 cannot be filled above body of truck. Short 6-foot truck bed full about 1.5 cubic yards, $100.
Yep.
Surcharge of 25 if C&D greater than 50% brick, shingles, rubble, concrete, asphalt.
Yep.
Are we taking out bulk loose in truck or trailer, max 2 cubic yards? Back
Yes.
up 1 to 4 sentences.
Yes, we took that out under the household waste because we
Okay.
thought that would be confusing to have two
Mhm.
price structures.
Okay, but what about, are we still leaving it in?
Yeah, we're leaving it in.
Okay.
That's the two prices that we just agreed to,
Gotcha.
the 6-foot and the
Okay.
8-foot bed.
I was just asking, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
The only thing I would do, Aaron, is swap the order of the two, but.
Oh
that's
yeah, make
okay.
us short. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I would also, Aaron, on your standard 8-foot truck bed full, I would put not to exceed 2 cubic yards.
Okay, I like that, Mary Lou.
yeah. How about not more than, because exceed is just, it sounds too legal. I know where
Well-
you're coming from.
Well, yeah, exactly. If we get into a match with RRA, I'd rather have a legal term in there.
Okay,
Okay. Surcharge of $25 of C&D is greater than 50% brick, shingles, rubble, concrete, asphalt.
and Aaron, do me one favor, go back, I'm sorry, that cannot be filled above the line, just make that all one line, just do a return after 125. So it's all together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
we can
spacing is a little weird on this
Yeah, we
document.
can deal with the spacing.
I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is all the same,
Yeah,
but now it's under the title of transfer station pricing for bulk loose material. So we have all the same, then we have their other disposables. Furniture, mattresses, and rugs will be charged double if received wet. So we did the updates of the even numbers, so 24 for the sleeper sofa, 8 for the wood plastic furniture. We updated to be a even number for the king size. And then everything else is the same. And then I'll delete all the stuff below the porcelain sink toilet.
so,
And can we go
Something
back
just
up to the,
go ahead, sorry,
we
Mary.
can
Lou.
we go up to the truck beds for a minute again? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You'd think I'd have a truck with all the time I want to spend on them. Okay, so we have full after each of these.
Oh, I'll just delete that.
Thank you, because I'm just afraid somebody's going to say, well, mine's only half full, so it's only.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing to think about, and we can come up with a conclusion if we get a mixed load where somebody brings a bunch of C&D and a chair. Do we charge separate for the chair and then the C&D, or do we just charge it as if it's a load?
You charge for this chair because it's a separate entity. It's not C&D, it's your material. It's your
Okay,
furniture piece, is it not?
That's
Does
fine.
everyone think that way?
I'm fine with that answer.
I'm just wondering how everybody else
Yeah,
feels about
yeah.
that.
I
Anybody
agree
have
with
any
you, B.
opinion on that, Aaron?
I mean, I think it is a separate item, though, if it's like if it's like, I don't know, I think it might,
If
I
it's
think we just
buried,
charge separately and not make it complicated.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Harry's discretion.
Yeah. I mean, we've always given them discretion on how to charge things to some degree, but if we give them this published list and allow them some discretion,
right.
and if he has questions, he can ask us.
And and again, like you pointed out, Mike, we'll pass this off to him, implement it. We can troubleshoot some of these issues we've even
Yep.
talked about with him. And then if he has a continuing, I say this in my business all the time, like if something keeps coming up over and over and over again that's hard or confusing, that's an opportunity for us to tweak it so that it works better for the residents. So
Agreed.
we'll just keep open lines of communication. And if something keeps coming up that we just need to adjust it so that it's better and easier, we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all that being said, Aaron, since this is your baby, why don't you make the motion then?
Okay. I would like to make a motion to adopt the new pricing structure for the transfer station as
Presented.
amended and discussed at tonight's meeting.
Effective,
Effective
what's Friday's date?
Effective the 18th.
18th.
Okay, effective
September.
September 18, 2020.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion. I think we've already done discussion. So Kate, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Anowen,
Aye.
Councilman Hagen DePew,
but are we going to add what a cubic yard is, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, somewhere on that document?
Sure. We can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
aye.
You're done with, no, I said bye. You're done with me, right?
I think so, Mary Lou.
Oh, I thought you voted in favor, Mary Lou.
No vote for me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
um,
I'm hopping off. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you,
Good
Mary
night,
Lou.
Mary Lou.
All right. Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna just go back to the agenda real quick. In the interest of time, I'm just going to do the 2 resolutions before we do the RFP. So let me get that up there. Okay, so I'm asking for a resolution, and I emailed this to you. This is a contract that they didn't tell us was coming due until after it was due. So the town board authorizes the town supervisor to sign the renewal yearly service and maintenance agreement. Sorry, I gotta just shorten up our screen here. Okay. Town supervisor signed renewal for the yearly service and maintenance agreement effective September 15, 2020 at a fee of $500 per year with CrossPoint Connect Incorporated, 9 Marion's Way, Woodstock, New York, 12498 for the town hall digital telephone system and voicemail. Do I have a motion?
Is it supposed to say 16th?
No, it actually was due effective as of yesterday.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? This is the same price as last year. The contract actually expired on the 14th. They didn't send it to me until Thursday or Friday of last week. Any other questions? If not, Kate, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Allen,
Aye.
Councilman Hagen DePew,
You're muted, B.
Thank you, Erin.
Councilman, Councilman
Aye.
Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock, Councilman Paddock,
Now I'm on mute. Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye. Next motion, authorizing the supervisor to make changes to the Cohasson Street Lighting District. The town board authorizes the town supervisor to sign a street lighting authority order with Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation, Route 28 at Thruway Circle, Kingston, New York, 12401, to add a street light on CHG&E pole number 100846 located at Old Mine Road and Academy Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
This was a request from a resident who lives at that address. In the past, the house next door had a large globe light above their garage that lit the area. And they have since removed it. And the resident requested this. It is just inside the border of Wawarsing. Initially, he called Wawarsing asking for them to take care of it. We discovered it actually is in Rochester, and Central Hudson told me that if we would need a board resolution to request it. This address will be added to the street lighting district, so the cost of this light will be added to the street lighting for the Cohasson district, and this resident will now be taxed accordingly for the Cohasson street lighting district.
This is at the top of the hill, correct? Past the Cohasson School.
Correct. It is, yeah, it is. I tried to go there to locate the exact pole yesterday. Unfortunately, the road was closed because of the Cohasson water main, repiping. So I have not actually located the pole number. Central Hudson gave me the pole number because they initially got the request from the resident.
Mike, you should have told me you were going. I could have gotten you through there.
Well, it was just a spur of the moment decision to try to drive by and see where the pole was. But I was confident that Central Hudson knew what pole we were talking about when they gave me the number. So,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah.
Like LED light?
It will be an LED light, correct. Which
Great.
all of our, actually, I shouldn't say all, most of our lighting district lights have been converted to LEDs. And that has lowered the cost considerably, so much so that last year, and we will again this year, be able to lower the amount of taxes collected for those lighting districts. So if there's no other discussion or questions, Kate, roll call vote.
Councilwoman Allen,
Aye.
Councilman Hagen DePew,
Aye.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye. Okay, next, we will move into the surveys. Sorry, let me get the right ones up. So as you know, we had 19 responses. We had 2 received after the cutoff date, so they are not being considered. I'd like to ask first, I'm going to make a motion that we do not consider proposal number 1 or proposal number 4 because they did not sign the non-collusion statement. They included it in their proposal, but it was unsigned. So I'm going to make that motion, and do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? I think we were pretty clear that it must be included, and a non-signature is no, just because it was included without a signature, my feeling is they're not agreeing to it. So, Kate, roll call vote?
Councilwoman Anowen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hagen DePew,
Aye.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye. Okay. My apologies. I got these from you this afternoon, but I was unable to get them pre-entered. I had hoped to, but I had a doctor's appointment that ran long. So we're going to have to be patient and go through it. We will go through as quickly as we can. I'm going to do what I did last time, is enter the numbers in as we go, and then we will do the pricing. So.
Mike, was your staff too overwhelmed to do this for you today?
Probably, Chris, because we're in the middle of teaching the Shirley's replacement. So.
Okay.
It's also, I'm not sure that I view this as their job. Plus, also, I think we should do this in public. So, otherwise, there could be questions about whether I am entering in, my own numbers.
Mike, for comparing the
Good point.
pricing, do we want to use the square foot price or the total price?
We'll be using the square foot price times the total footage, which you'll see on the bottom is 37,242.
Okay. So we'll be looking at the lump sum.
Ultimately, yes, but we'll be using the square footage to do that. Okay, that's proposal 1. Excuse me, proposal 2.
I think you need to do a screen share, Mike. If you,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Apologize. I thought I was. Okay, that is proposal 2. It is an average points of 60.6.
Hey, Mike, didn't we
Yep.
have a local rating last time?
We did not. Last time we had 4 criteria, but we did not have anything for local. I know we had discussed it, but I went back in the RFP and we didn't mention anything for bonus points for local. And I hear you, Chris, and I think it's a great idea. And I think in future we should maybe do a bonus of a certain number of points rather than a criteria, but a bonus for a local. And we'd have to define what local meant.
Yep, sounds good.
So-
I had
Yeah,
some.
I saw you did it on your scores, and I meant to call you and talk to you about it.
Mhm.
I kind of take the blame that we didn't include it in the RFP, and I like the idea for future. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a rating system I could share with you. So like Albany, New York City got 20 out of 25, whereas New Paltz, Rhinebeck got 25 out of 25.
Okay.
Also, you saw on the right, I wrote a people of color. A
Yeah,
rating
and
by
we
people
also
of color.
did say that an MWBE, which is Minority Women's Business Enterprise, and that is the name by the state. That's not my name.
Right.
If they are a certified MWBE, we could do bonus points for that as well.
Nice. I had a really interesting epiphany while rating these, that these procurement policies perpetuate racism. Because that's why I put the people of color rating in my classification, because as you analyze, I'd say out of the 19 proposals, 99% of the people were white. So what is actually happening here is we're funding agencies that are staffed by all white people. And why? Because they have the qualified people working for them. So those qualifications come from an educational system that's stacked against people of color who are struggling to afford education. And so every time we approve these contracts, we're perpetuating racist procurement,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's where I think the MWBE will definitely come into play, because if they get certified, by giving a bonus for it, I think that would balance it out.
Nice, thank you.
Yep.
Well, it would, but in this case, it doesn't apply. And I do not know how people from India or are that American status, but there were plenty of people of that culture.
There were several that called out that they were MWBE candidate qualified firms, actually, mostly women owned.
Right.
That's correct.
But there
Because
were
that
a number of them.
they started out with that an acronym was women's owned business, and then expanded it to cover the other criteria.
Okay, number 3 is an average of 59.
I don't see 3. Do you have?
Proposal number 3, we just did it. That
I'm
was
still looking at 60.6. Sorry.
really, it wasn't sharing?
No.
My
It didn't.
apologies. I guess maybe I have to stop the share and reopen it each time. I'm sorry. My apologies. It told me I was sharing the screen. So, okay, there's vendor 3.
That's
59.
Yes, now I see
Does
it.
everybody
Thank
see
you.
it?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna close this and open number 4 then. Apparently
Thank
I
you.
have to do that between each one.
4 is a nothing. 4 is a
Oh,
non-collusion.
correct. Thank you, B. I appreciate that answer. So we'll go to 5.
No.
Okay, this will be number 5. Are you seeing it now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm only posting a column at a time, Mike. I don't know what's going on. Are you posting?
No, I gotta switch piles here, so I'm just making sure I'm in the right board member and right vendor number.
Okay, that's what I thought. You're putting it up. Thank you.
Yep. I take 1 second and just double check I did something correctly on 3. Want to make sure I didn't put the wrong numbers in for board member 3. I did. I'm going to correct number 3 here for board member 3. I put the wrong numbers in and I'm correcting it right now.
Okay.
The average score for number 3 is also 60.6 now. I put in the scores for number 2 again. My apologies.
I don't see 4 and 5 on my screen. I'm still sitting at vendor 5 with 30.
Right. I didn't. I just
Okay.
corrected 3. Do you want? I can put it up on the screen. I just went back and corrected it on my page. Hang on. I'll put it up there
Okay.
so you see it. Okay. There is 3. What I did is I corrected column number 3, board member 3. I had put the numbers in for number 2 by mistake.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it is 60.6. Okay, and now we are on 5.
We should be 5. 5 should be 60.6, correct?
Yep, and I'm doing 5, finishing 5 right now. I did board member 1, 2, and 3, and that's when I discovered my mistake.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So this is number 5 for board member 4. And this is number 5 for board member 5. That is an average of 65.4. Okay, moving to number 6. Oops. Okay, board number 6. Number 1. Okay, number 6 is 64.6. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is 62.4.
There's really a lot of extremes between council member 1 and 5. I don't think we're rating things the same way as each other. We might have to do this together next time.
Well, there is consistency though in the scoring of how they're doing it across the board too.
Fortunately, it creates a good balance.
Yeah.
Extreme.
It is extreme. I don't deny that. The benefit of doing it independently is just that, it's independent. So
And I do understand your point, Mike, about sharing this information with the public so we know it's all being done honestly.
yeah, and I appreciate that, Chris. And I'm sorry it does, last time we had 6, we've got 17 to do tonight.
Yeah, 19. Oh yeah, 17. Yeah.
17, yeah. But I am very glad that we had that many responses. I mean, it shows, putting that in the contract reporter definitely made it be more visible.
Mm-hmm. I love the best value policy. My thought is, if this was all filled out before the meetings, I can confirm, yes, my number is all accurate.
Yeah. No, and in future I can try to do that. We were a bit of a rush today trying to get all this done. So
yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
And I had kind of planned on doing that and explaining that I had not looked at anything ahead of time, but nobody can question this because it's all backed up by paper.
Yep.
And I don't know if each of you made copies of your own. You know who you are. I actually, at this point, I'm not sure which board member is which, except for myself, which is kind of how it should be.
Also the way it should be, right?
Yep. I think I've also learned that the best way to do this is a single Excel spreadsheet, which is how Erin did hers, and it will make all our lives easier in the future. It's still a learning curve for all of us. Okay, proposal number 8 is an average score of 60.
See Erin's note, Mike?
No, I didn't because I have it closed. I will see it in a moment here. Okay, let me go back and check. Thank you, Aaron. That was number 8, correct? $60.4. Okay, number 9. Yeah, to your point, Chris, I think, we each develop our own sort of scoring system of where we start and what our expectations are. So I think as long as we're consistent within ourselves, it's fair, because if we're all, yeah.
Makes sense.
But Chris, to your point, I think it's if you're not careful, you can devalue your vote as a councilman if you're not giving the each one the proper amount. I kind of think about it like I'm scoring the Olympics. Everybody's good, but the best get the highest vote.
Exactly. Perfect 10 is very rare.
Very rare.
Okay, number 9 is 59.6. We are going to be, very close to each other with all these. The good news is I'm getting the clicks pattern down pretty quickly here now, so. Number 10 is 63.2. Number 11. Number 2, board member 2. The number 11 is 58.2. Number 12. If somebody has the proposals handy when we do the pricing, it will be a lot easier for me if somebody else can feed me the numbers.
That's why I was asking Mike, because I'm putting that together.
Great. Yeah, go by this price per square foot. Even as B pointed out, there was one of them that calculated the wrong number of square feet, but we should use their price per square foot anyway. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's,
I notated that one.
yeah, but that's how we asked for it, in price per square foot. So if they made a mistake, we can go from there. Number 12, 67.6. Number 13. Number 13 is 47.6. So we will be excluding that one because we had said anybody that scores under 50 will not be further considered. So we'll be excluding 13. Number 14. Oops. Sorry, wasn't in the right place. Another 60.6 for number 14. And if we were doing this in person, we easily could just like be reading our scores as we went along, and it would certainly go much faster, I think. COVID certainly is not helping us. So number 15.
Hey, Mike, what do you think about separating quality of proposal and compliance with specifications in the future?
Sure.
Great.
And actually, I can say this while I'm typing in, because for a couple reasons, because we have so many so close, and also because we have a very big disparity of pricing. What I'm going to propose, and we had put in the potential to have interviews, I'm going to propose that we pick a number, either maybe 4 or 5, which would be about 25%, and that we have interviews with them and then make our selection off that. But we can debate what that number is of how many we pick, but I think it would be, because when we see the pricing, you're going to see it's all over the map. Okay, so number 15 is 64.8. I'll give you guys something to think about while I do the last 3. Oh, excuse me, last four. So number 16 is a score of 63. Number 17 is an average score of 62. Number 18 is an average score of 64.8. And one more. And number 19 is 66.6. So Aaron, I'm going to go back to number 1. Excuse me, number 2. And I think you probably figured out what the lowest score is, right? The lowest price?
Oh, no, I haven't done that quite yet. I could
Okay.
tell you in a second if you want, but hold on.
Or you could just tell me the price of each one, and then once we determine the lowest score, we can go back.
Okay. I just, because some of them didn't include, oh, am I muted? Because some of them didn't include, I just have to do a different formula on each one.
If they didn't include a square, a price per
Yeah.
square foot, we could disqualify them, or we can calculate it what it is based on their total price.
So number 2, do you want to fill them all in, or do you want me to?
Well, if you can tell me the lowest price per square foot first, that would help me.
Okay. So I believe
It should be number, based on what I looked at, it should be number 10. I'll tell you what, why don't I do 10 first, since I'm pretty certain that is the lowest price per square foot.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll start with that as the baseline.
Hold on. It's 10 and 14 are the same. Yeah.
10 and 14 are the same? 14 was a different price per square foot. I know it was.
Okay. All right.
I actually didn't see a price per square foot for 14.
That one I did the math on.
Oh, you did? Can you tell me
14 didn't have a price per square foot?
14 didn't. No, they only did total.
So I don't know if we want to disqualify on that basis, but I did.
I thought I saw it in the fine print.
Oh, okay. Aaron, what's the price per square foot on that one?
Which is the name? What's the name of that one? I have too many things on my desk.
We shouldn't say it by name.
NK.
Oh, right.
Oh, I'm sorry. You saw it in the fine print?
Actually, you're right. You're right. It was not, but there's no way their price could
But
be
it's
the
not
same.
no, you're right. No, you're right. My calculator
Yeah.
was, I was looking at the wrong
When
column.
yeah, Aaron, when we
You
get
can just ignore me.
so when we get the ones that didn't do a price per square foot, let's enter in their total price as their bid, and that's instead of, because we're going to take the square footage and multiply it by the price per square foot anyway. So okay, so we're on.
Okay. Well,
So
I
we're on
have the
number.
price per square foot on all.
Okay, so we're on number 10, which is definitely the lowest. What was the price per square foot?
16 cents.
So doesn't that seem like a mistake?
I can tell you, I will tell you, I called to confirm with them, and because it was so low, and his statement to me was, yes, that is the correct price. They are doing this, he said, in hopes that if they got this bid, that when we move forward with any construction work, that we would consider hiring them to be the engineers in charge of any projects in the future. So I did confirm that but there's no requirement that we use them. This was just he said that, yes, indeed, this was their price.
Thank you.
So, because I questioned it myself. Okay, so the lowest price is 5958.72, and the bidder's price?
But we're not considering lowest price, correct? We're going based on the numbers that we did with the 60 point, 65 point, whatever.
It's the two added together. So the potential points on the top part is 70. The potential points on the price is 50. And it's a race, just like we did with the IT, it's a ratio of the lowest price divided by the bidder's price to come up with their price points. In this case, these guys will get 50 because they're the lowest price. That was specified in the RFP. It's a
Okay.
combination of the two.
Okay.
It's exactly the same way we did, except we did 170. I think the top one was 100 points and the bottom number was 75 in the IT RFP. Okay, so number 10, if somebody wants to record these for me as we go, just keep a running total, 113.2. I can write
Okay.
it on my sheet here. No, I can't. I can't find a pen. Sorry.
I'm typing them in.
Okay. 113.2.
Okay.
Now that we have that number, the lowest price, let me save that. And we're going to go to number 2 now, Aaron, and we'll just work our way through.
All right. So number 2 is $1.60.
Hang on a minute. I got to get it up on the screen. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at my spreadsheet, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. It just takes me a minute to get it there. Okay. So the lowest price, 5958.72, and their price is what?
Well, it's $1.60, and then when I multiply that out, it comes to 5.
Well, my thing will do the math for us. All I need is the price.
Great.
5958.72.
Yep.
Oops.
I believe they quoted 59,000 even on the bid or on the RFP.
We will double check.
They did for some reason. I don't.
They probably rounded off per square foot. So I'm going to put in 59,000. They apparently rounded down.
They just rounded it down to the nearest 1,000.
Yep. But we'll put in what they bid. So their score is 65.6498.
Okay.
Moving on to number 3.
Before we do all the math on this, should we disqualify them because they did not use the correct total of square footage?
Up to what the
That's up
board
to you.
thinks. We could take their number. It's up to you.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
they gave us a square foot number, which is what I
Yeah.
would say we should use.
With
But
their
they were
total
6,000
footage?
square feet off in their total.
Yes, they were. Yes.
So let's use their square foot calculation.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
then,
I have it highlighted in yellow so we don't forget.
yep.
So
Okay.
that total is.
Hang on 1 minute, Aaron, sorry. Once I get it up on the screen, okay. So their square footage total, I mean, their price per square foot is,
1.152.
comes out to a total of 42,902.78. And what was the lowest one again? I didn't save it.
5958.72.
But that's not their bid, Mike.
What's that? Whose bid?
Bidder's price is not 42,000.
Well,
Bidder's
they said
price,
36. Well, they said $36,000.
that's right, because they used the wrong square footage, so it does make a difference by 6,000.
Yeah.
I think
So-
what we're saying is we're gonna take their square foot price, apply it to the actual square footage. Because that's how they,
It's
That's
up to I'll leave it to the board how we want to do it. The last one I felt comfortable because clearly they just rounded off. This one, they clearly made a mistake. I think we should use,
6,000 square feet.
yeah,
I
they
think
have
we
a
should-
question mark in the chart.
I think since we asked for a square foot, price per square foot, we should enter that in your diagram.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
If it's close, we have it highlighted in yellow, so we'll
Yep.
remember. I have it notated.
I would
If-
agree because the RFP clearly asked for it in being in square feet, price per square foot, so. Okay, so their score is 67.5444.
67.5444.
Okay, we're gonna move on to number 5. Skipping 4 because they did not comply.
Okay. Tell
Hang
me
on,
when
hang
you're
on a
ready.
sec. Sorry, Aaron, give me a minute. I want to just make sure we're doing it on the screen. Okay. First, give me the lowest price again.
Okay, it's 5958.72.
Okay, and their price per square foot?
76 cents.
Is that the total 28,303.92?
They rounded to 28.4.
Or
Okay. Is everybody comfortable with using the 28.4 or should we get to the 28,303.92? Let's stay consistent.
Yep, I would go 303.
Yep. Because we did ask for it in square. So we probably should go back. If number 2 matters, we should go back and correct that. But so their score is 75.9263. And what number are we up to? I'm sorry, I lost track here.
6.
Thank you. Okay, once again, Aaron, the low score.
It is 5958.72.
Okay, and number 6 is price per square foot.
They gave us a lump sum. And when I divide it by 37,242,
This may be the one that I saw it in the fine print.
oh yeah. Okay.
No, they did give us a fixed price.
What if you put the fixed price in your box?
Yeah, I will do that.
Oh.
29,468, correct?
29,468.
I meant the other box, Mike, just so then it would calculate price per square foot, wouldn't it? It's up to you.
Yeah, I probably would. No, only because of the way I have the formula set up, you need one and before the other.
Okay, cool.
I mean, if it does, it's 0.791,
Okay.
what it does when I do the math. but-
Yeah, I'm just gonna put in the 29,468. So their score is 74.7105.
Okay.
Okay, that was number 6. Moving on to 7. Okay, the low price again?
5958.72.
I'll try to copy that and see if it holds. Okay, and their price per square foot?
1.32.
For a total of 49159.44. Their score is 68.4606. We're up to number 8, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, 5. Low price.
5958.72.
Unfortunately, the save, once I type another keystroke, it goes away. So their price per square foot?
90 cents.
Their score is 69.2889. Number 9.
5958.72.
Thank you. You're going to be saying that in your sleep tonight.
Yeah, I
And
was
the price-
already thinking about all this other stuff. 80 cents.
And this is number 9, correct?
Mhm.
29793.29793. Their score is 69.6.
So we did 10 already.
Okay. So moving on to 11. Five, 9.
58.72.
Their price per square foot?
1.03.
385. Excuse me. 359.26. Their score is 65.9670. Five, 9, 5.
8.72.
By the last one, I'll have it memorized. Their square foot, price per square foot?
1.06.
39476.52.
They did round up to 39,500.
Okay. Do we want to do that, or do we want to take their,
Do what you wish.
what do you guys think? What's the consensus? I think they bid at square footage and we asked for that. I think if we said to them, you got to go to 39,476.52, they probably would.
Yeah, it's down. I mean, you're 25, 24 something down.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to argue with us over $24 if that's the
No.
case. Okay, so 75.1472. We're up to 13, is that correct?
Yes.
We're not scoring 13.
Oh, that's
because they
right.
were
Thank you.
excluded.
Moving on to 14.
14. And 14 gave us a,
Hang on one second. Let me get
Oh,
it up
sorry.
on this. That's okay. I just want to get it on the screen so everybody can see it. Okay. 595
8.7.
8.72. And their price per square foot?
So they gave us a bulk quote, and then however you want to do it, but I did the division. It comes out to
Well,
0.902.
if they only gave us a bulk quote, we'll put that in.
Okay, so 33,600.
Should we consider them if they didn't give us a square footage?
We could see where they score again. If you want to highlight this one, Aaron, again, like the others.
Yeah. I
That was-
did.
That was the price
Okay,
of
thank
14 that we eliminated. The price you just said was 14.
Yes.
We're on 15.
No, we're on 14. We eliminated
We're on
13.
14.
We eliminated 13.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. We eliminated 13 because their responsiveness
Oh, yeah.
was under 50.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Yep. So their score is 69.4671. And moving on to 15. $5958.72.
You got it, Mike.
Only took me 14 times to remember it. Okay, price per square foot.
Would be 0.242.
Yeah, this was the other one that I was unsure about the pricing, but
Oh yeah, I think they gave us, let me highlight that one in yellow. They also gave us the 9,000 as a
it's a flat rate.
flat rate. So I highlighted that one too.
But they
Because
also,
they gave us the square footage, what's the board feel? We should go, let's go by that.
they didn't give us the square
They didn't,
footage.
I gave it to you.
Oh, you gave it to me.
I
They
don't-
They
didn't?
didn't give it to
I
us.
built a little spreadsheet.
I'm sorry.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
if they didn't price it out in square feet, we probably shouldn't.
So enter 9,000 then.
Yep. So they're 97.9040.
$97.9040.
97.9040, correct. Moving on to 16. $5759.72.
No.
5958.72.
5958.72. 58.72. Okay, their price per square foot?
1.5.
55,863. Their score is 68.3333. Number 17. $5,958.72.
Yep.
Their price per square feet, 17.
0.64.
Their score is 74.5.
Didn't they give their bid 23,750, I think?
But they also gave a square footage.
Yeah, they rounded down.
Let's see. So then they rounded it down, B, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I entered all these into a spreadsheet.
100, like $90.
Yeah, I think if they gave us the square foot, price per square foot, we should take
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, even if it goes up a little bit from what it was, because ultimately we're gonna ask them to confirm the square footage anyway. So the
Okay.
price may vary a little bit. I mean, these square footages were taken from the assessor's office. They were not field measured. We did put in there if there was a greater than a certain percentage variance in the square footage that they could request additional money. So
One of them did. I don't remember who it was, but I know.
no,
they
but
did.
we put that in the RFP as well.
Yeah.
So okay, so you have this score, Aaron, 74.5.
Yep.
Okay. Number 18, correct?
Yes.
Okay. 5958.72.
Yep.
Square foot, price per square foot.
1.04.
Their score is 72.4923. And the last one, number 19. $5,958.72, correct?
Yep.
Okay, price per square foot.
1.34.
Their price is 4,904. Their score is 72.5701. So,
Whew.
Aaron, how about I give you, have you been recording them, typing them in the scores as you go?
Yeah.
Let me allow you to screen share again. I think you probably still have capability.
Yeah, let me delete the, hold on. It's,
Or just black out the names.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then,
Although at this point, the names don't matter because we're going to divulge them. We've scored everything.
yeah. I'm just getting it so that you guys aren't just seeing my scores.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. If you want to screen, you should be able to screen share.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, it's. Can you scroll down so it's toward the bottom of the screen? Because the
Oh,
page,
what-
because right now the cameras are blocking everything. I was imagining
okay.
I was imagining it was going to be a list. Just move.
Like that?
Yeah, that'll work, but we can't see them all that way. Can you go
Oh,
back?
I have to scroll. I have
Hmm,
to scroll.
okay.
So yeah, I put them in. I was recording them. I don't know how you want to do it. I know the two highest ones right off the bat.
If we want to do it, can you do a sort by total?
Yeah.
You know how to do that, right? Yeah, grab everything and sort by column 10.
Let's see. I have to sort
Or by
the
row. Yeah, you're gonna want to sort by row.
It's not gonna let me do that.
No, I don't think it will. It only let you sort by column.
I have to pivot it and everything, and it's gonna.
Yeah. We'll just have to figure it out. Well, we know number 10 is going to be the highest. That's 113.2.
Right. And your next one would be, if I'm correct, 15, but they didn't give us the square footage. They had 97,9040.
Well, let's figure what the top 5 are and then go from there.
Okay. Number 10.
Oh, hang on. Aaron's doing higher Excel here.
Yeah,
I get it. I know what she's doing.
All right. Now I can sort it.
Sort by column A. You can just up all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
Nice Excel skills, Aaron.
Okay, so the ones we didn't review are at the bottom.
No, it's backwards.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That works.
Okay. We've got 10,
15.
15.
5, 12. Well, what's the board's feelings? Because the 5th and the 6th are so close to each other, do we want to interview the top 4 or the top 6? Or does the board just want to go with the top 1?
I feel like top 5.
I agree with Chris. 5.
Yeah, the only reason I was saying that is the difference between 5 and 6 is 0.21.
And are they? Okay. Okay, yeah. I don't know, but it's also the difference of a whole other interview.
Yep.
Then the difference of 6 and 7
Or here's another option.
0.001.
Here's another option.
Never mind.
Here's another option. We could just interview number 1 and number 2 because 3, 4, and 5 are much further behind.
Well, I think that reveals a flaw in something. Both of those reveal some kind of flaw. The first one, number 10, we know the flaw is he's taking a huge risk to lose money to get
Correct.
this.
And I'm sure, Mike, you told him that one bid has absolutely nothing to do with another bid. So
I did.
Okay. So,
I like the idea of taking top 5 and interviewing, because the reason being for me is I think there's a big difference.
Aaron, can you do me a favor? Can you well, I don't know how you could do it. I was going to ask if put them back in order from 1 through 19, and then can you lay the prices in C?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
And that may help us look at this a little, because I mean, we're doing best value, but price does come into the consideration.
Here. This is, I'm just
And-
gonna,
Mike, while she's doing that, I just have a quick question. I know we have the ability to interview these folks, but I honestly, I thought the purpose of best value was to let the spreadsheet do our work so that way we didn't have to.
It was, but I feel because of the wide disparity in the pricing,
Mhm.
I think it's only fair that we actually, not just me, but that the board gets to ask them, why the heck did you bid so low? We could choose to just throw them out because it's questionable, and at the end of the day, if we go to negotiate a contract with them and they come back and go, oh, we didn't mean that, then we can just move on to the next one. This is, to me, this is a little different than the IT stuff, where the IT, we were negotiating a partnership, and this is kind of a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
So I'm open to either way. If we want to just say, okay, number one fair and square, and we go with them, I'm fine with that. If
Your
we want to
number
do
two-
interviews,
Your number 2 or your number 15 didn't give you a square footage. So what do you do with them?
right. And number 15 is our number.
That's the one I mean. That's your number.
Yeah,
Right.
oh, yeah, that's what you meant. I'm sorry, B, I
If-
understand now.
if we
2 in
interview
line.
them, we can ask that question.
But for the exact same reasons you just said before, this isn't a long-term contract. We've requested work to be done very specifically. They gave us the price. You know, they came up, far and away the best price. It's not like, they can say, well, we're not going to do this aspect of it, or, we're going to do this part differently. I mean,
Agreed.
I don't
and we still have to negotiate a contract with them, and if they balk at the contract, then we can move to the next one.
easily slip into number 2, and then at that point, take a harder look at the rest.
I mean, I do have to say, though, I understand this isn't a long-term contract, but the decisions that we're making based on this work are things that we're hoping to implement in 5 to 10 years. So I think maybe
Aaron, what's your column C?
So this was the square foot pricing versus, my formula didn't carry over.
Yeah.
So this is our square foot pricing, which is, and then the highlighted ones are the ones that did not provide the
Correct.
square foot pricing.
Yeah, because I know it wasn't 0.3 of a penny and 0.2 of a penny.
Yeah, those are, that's like my formula. So this, I can't put the pricing in there
Yeah.
without doing some tricky stuff.
Yeah, I
as
understand.
pasting the
Which
value.
were those two numbers again that we were saying?
That didn't do square footage,
Yeah.
number
15
14 and 15, and who else, Aaron? There was another one.
and 14.
14, 15, and wasn't there another one?
Yes.
One of them, I remember seeing it buried in the text, but it wasn't in their chart. And I just want to make sure.
Yeah, but
The third one we're talking about was
Yeah.
number 3, and they didn't have the right square foot.
correct. That was, I knew there was something. Yes.
There's also number 6, I think. No square footage.
Number 6, possibly
I mean,
because it's,
Hold
Number
on.
15 is, they're giving us a lump
No,
sum.
you're right, Chris.
yes, I knew there was another one with,
I mean, we did ask for a price per square foot, but they're guaranteeing this lump sum. So if they're guaranteeing us the lump sum, it's up to you.
I mean, I got to be honest. I know we asked for square foot price, but it's not hard to determine square foot price if they give us a lump sum.
Right.
but don't they have to go along with the RFP? And the RFP requested square footage.
That's up to us to determine. If if they gave us the square footage and gave us used the wrong square footage to calculate the number, I would agree with that. But I can see both arguments. We did ask for it to be bid in price per square foot.
And it's your document that gives you what you're supposed to consider.
Correct. We also, though, gave ourselves the leeway to vary from that if necessary. So, because it's basically up to us.
We gave it us, but we didn't give it to them, correct? They do
Agreed,
not
but
know.
we could accept their 8,000, their 9,000 and divide it and come up with our own square foot number.
No, that's not what's wrong. That's not the one with the wrong square footage.
No, I understand that, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying the 9,000 one, number 15,
Yes,
we could say, okay, 9,000 divided by 32, whatever, and come up with whatever Aaron's formula is, and that's the square footage. They are giving us a price. I would say if they did it the other way, if they said if they gave us a price per square foot and didn't agree, and their total number didn't agree with our square footage, that's another case.
well, they came up with 0.242 as their square foot, Erin did with her math.
Right.
I believe, Mike, if you're asking for square footage in your RFP, you have to have square footage. I could be wrong. You can ask Mary Lou.
Well, no, my point is we gave ourselves in the RFP the ability to consider alternatives. So if they're saying a price of $9,000, we can equate it to what the square footage is, price per square foot. We can calculate that.
Well, she did.
Right. So it's up to us as a board whether we accept that or not, or we disqualify it.
Okay.
I'm more concerned with the square footage error.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
6,000
And,
square
but
foot
I don't think the
error.
square footage error one is even in consideration because they're so far down
Okay.
the list.
They're
That's great.
14th. Yeah. So I put the rank in with the numbers.
Great.
The only ones, number 2 and number 5 are the ones that didn't do a calculation of square footage that are really in play. I think the other ones, number 14 and what's the other yellow one?
15.
15 what's the one below, Aaron? Yeah.
This is
Number
the
3
one that didn't give us. the
3 and 14 they're out of the mix anyway. So it really doesn't matter. So our question is, do we accept the pricing of 15 and 6 to be considered, or do we throw them out and drop 2 more down? Aaron, you don't have the pricing for number 5 there.
0.76 per square foot.
Oh,
She's
5.
got that, but she didn't have you didn't have the score. I'm sorry, the score of 5 was missing.
75.9263.
No, you're right. It's the pricing.
Oh, it is the pricing. Yeah.
I think that was the one that rounded, and so it.
0.76.
Yeah.
What number was it?
0.76.
No, what number proposal?
Number 5.
5. $2830392. I think they rounded
Yeah.
down.
What did we use when we calculated the score? Let me look.
It's in your spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm gonna look real quick.
They
What
used
does everyone think about the square footage? I'm kind of leaning toward not,
28. I'm sorry.
I'm leaning toward not counting them because they didn't include the square footage.
Yeah.
I just feel bad. We might miss out on a good price or a good vendor
Yeah,
path we could do our.
Right.
28,303.92 is what we came up with for number 5, Aaron.
Yes.
Okay.
And they bid 28,000
Hold on.
I don't
Or-
remember.
or
5.
28,400. I've got it
28.4.
here.
28.4.
Okay,
Oh, right. They bid
But-
higher.
but
Yeah.
if we chose them, I would say, well, you said 76 square foot, so we're gonna do the contract for 28,303. And they can choose whether to do it or not. Let me just put up the actual RFP for a second.
What are you gonna look at, Mike?
I'm going to look at where we gave ourselves the ability to,
That's us, not them.
I understand, B, but I'm trying to find out what abilities we have, whether to accept it or not. That's what I'm trying to decide.
Move along.
During the evaluation process, the town reserves the right where it may serve the town's best interest to request additional information, clarifications from proposers, or to allow corrections of errors or omissions. Such information given either orally or in writing is not given in confidence and may be used or disclosed to others. And here, at the discretion of the towns, firms submitting proposals may be requested to make oral presentations a part of the evaluation process, time determined by the town. So, and then we're going to negotiate with any and all proposers regarding the information requested. So we say they may be disqualified for failure to submit any required attachment exhibit or for submitting incomplete or non-responsive information. So it's a may. So it's up to us. And we also gave ourselves the right to reject or accept any and all proposals in whole or in part, and waive any and all informalities, and to disregard all non-conforming. So we gave ourselves the ability to calculate the square footage. We also gave ourselves the ability to disqualify it. We just have to decide which one we want to do. So Aaron, I'm going to give you the screen share again. If you'd put it back up, please.
I propose that we do Mike's idea of interviewing the top 5 and keep the 2 that didn't give us the square footage, but gave us a lump sum.
I agree.
Because then we can ask them about it. And the reason why I want to interview is because I understand that the whole idea of this is that the ranking will take care of it. But the reason why we went to this type of scoring system was so that we weren't merely considering price. And the difference between the price bids basically means that we are deciding based on price, because that number 2 could have had a really, really low score.
Yeah. But
Still
if you use number 12 as an example, though, number 12 is not one of the cheaper ones. There's considerably lower than it as you work your way down the list. But clearly, we thought that number 12 was a very good proposal.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think it's worth hearing from them. I will say that any of those top 5, I mean, when we talked about this, we had no idea what the price is going to be. I'm quite pleased, to be honest. We easily can find the $6,000 if we go with number 1.
But
Yeah.
that's not always, lowest isn't always best quality.
Agreed, and that's why I think the interview is the way to go.
Yes.
Great.
So are you keeping?
So Aaron, you want to make that in the form of a motion, Aaron, that we schedule interviews for the top 5?
Sure, and I'll say it. I'll say it so that I answer B's question too. I think because I think you were just asking, right? Are we keeping 15 and 6 in, or are we removing them from consideration?
Right.
I was proposing that we keep them in, but we also do this interview process for the top 5, which would include those 2. If the board feels strongly about tossing them out, then I can amend that.
Well, why don't you make that motion? Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on it further, or do we want to just vote on it?
I just feel that we asked for the square footage and we should do this based with the square footage. That's just me.
Understood and agreed. So Kate, anybody else have anything else to input? If not, Kate, we'll do a roll call vote to Aaron's motion.
I just wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I wanted to tell B that I agree with both you and Adam that I was going to say, let's not do it because of square footage. And Adam said we can miss a really good opportunity. And so I think now I'm leaning toward including it because it's such a minor detail. We could do simple math and made it happen. But you're right, B.
B is right, but at the same time, we have the discretion.
I agree with B, but I think I'm going to vote that we interview the top 5 because I think we can do the math. And because they quoted us a hard price, hey, if the square footage ends up way off, we can still hold them to that price. I mean, they can choose not to sign the contract, but so Kate, if you do a roll call vote for Aaron's motion.
Councilwoman Anowen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hagen DePew,
I will vote yes, but I feel we still should have taken the square footage in this. I'm sorry, the RFP called for the square footage.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye, and I will just note that I understand and agree with B, but I think by doing the interview process, we have made it fair. So, next question, do we want to do these interviews next week after our workshop meeting? I am going to propose that we hold the workshop meeting in person because of the signing of the checks. I mean, the bills, the vouchers. So I could schedule these 10-minute increments starting at 7 o'clock, and we hold them tight to the 10 minutes. They would appear by Zoom, and we would be in person. How does the board feel on that?
I would say yes, if it's the only thing you put on that agenda is the bill paying and these interviews. This 10 o'clock at night meeting is getting a little much.
Understood.
I agree. And I agree that we should have them in.
Okay. So I'll make the motion that we schedule these 5 vendors for Zoom interviews to be held at the meeting on September 24th, beginning at 7 p.m. in 10-minute increments. Do I have a second?
I'll
I will
second.
second it.
Okay. All in favor, or actually roll call vote, please, Kate?
Councilwoman Anowen,
Aye.
Councilman Hagen DePew,
As long as there are 2 things on that agenda, the bill paying and the interviewing of these people, unless there's an absolute emergency for something else.
Understood.
Councilman Hewitt,
Aye.
Councilman Paddock,
Aye.
Supervisor Baden.
Aye. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
got a motion and a second. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Night.
Mike.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for a lot of very hard work. Aaron, thank you for your math skills.
No problem.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.